What if your greatest gifts were actually in the parts of your expression that you're avoiding? What if the greatest medicine that you hold, the very thing that if you shared would change the world, was not out of reach as to something that you needed to change yourself to be this better version, to be able to access that, but it's actually a gift that you already have within yourself that is so close to yourself that sometimes we're so close to our own gifts that they're so close to our face that we can't even see them. And just sometimes there comes along someone that holds up a mirror or some kind of synchronicity that happens where we actually are able to see that we've been hiding our gift all along. And that depression is really a symptom of the repression of our expression. The kinks in the hose of our channel, that when we release these energy that no longer serves us, which is what we're going to do in this video, when we clear the channel, we step out of our own way, we get into flow state, we get into the channeling state, we get into the inspiration, the downloads come through. This is the bridge between the metaphysical and the physical, between the spiritual and the practical, is all within not just your mindset, but within your frequency set. Because when you allow yourself to express this part of you that you've been hiding, when you allow yourself to tap into these parts of you that have been numbed or avoiding, right? You're able to tap into this part of yourself that is so relatable and so powerful. And sometimes it just takes that mindset shift to realize that everything is perfect and divine the way that it is, including the struggles and the challenges that you went through. And that, like, when you see that, you see that everything was meant to be so that you could serve this function that you have, this gift that you have within yourself. Is about allowing yourself to give yourself the permission to express more, not get caught up in perfectionism, not get caught up in trying to figure everything out, right? There's a place for having a plan, and then there's a place for just being in inspired action, right? Just part of that is a byproduct of a self-sabotage, of perfectionism, right? When we constantly need to figure out all the different things of how we're going to do it, and how we can mold ourselves to be good enough to make it, to manifest. But you don't have to manifest because you're the creator. This isn't just about manifesting fleeting manifestations. This is about creating your reality. And you have this power in creation within you because you are a child of God. And because of that, you are made in the likeness and image of Creator. The very creative force of the entire universe wants to create through you. And so if you're not creating, of course you're not happy, because that's not what God made you to do, right? God made you to create. That is the flow state of your channel, feeling the sense of fulfillment of just the very act of the joy of allowing yourself to create every single day, showing up to that. And this is something that I've struggled with in my own journey of being inconsistent. Even in this YouTube channel, I would get consistent, get momentum going, and then get pulled onto another direction, another project. And that's what I realized was one of the number one things that was holding me back was consistency. And just being able to shift into realizing the importance of just showing up consistently, building the momentum, even if it's just the video is just what I'm able to do in that moment. It's just what I'm able to access in that moment. At least I showed up in my channel and allowed my channel to come through. And as I've increased my consistency, it is unlocking and unlocked my gifts more and more, and continues to. And another big part of my journey was when I was a kid, in the system, the Matrix told me that there was something wrong with me, labeled me, told me that I had ADD, you need to take these pills. And I was, I never was like fitting into the system. And I realized it's because I'm actually a system buster. I'm a system changer. And I help people shift the very thing that I shifted when I turned 19 years old, is that I realized that there wasn't anything wrong with me. I was like, wait, what if I don't need these things outside of me that they're telling me, that they're trying to give me? And I threw the pills away and I learned meditation. And I said, I'm going to learn how to master my own mind and my own emotions. And I'm not going to rely on a pharmaceutical company. I'm not going to let some doctor tell me that. I'm not going to let these sick, old paradigm systems that are symptomatic and causing all of these problems for humanity to do that to me. And I took my power back and I said, what if there isn't something wrong with me? What if there's something right with me and there's something wrong with the system that is actually brainwashing and controlling and pushing people down into these low states of victimization consciousness, of there's something wrong with me, so I need this thing outside of me that only this company can produce in order to fix my brain? No, because the brain, the neurodivergent properties of attention deficit disorder, right? This is not medical advice, is a reflection of a sensitivity within our consciousness. Is actually an evolutionary adaptation, right? That we are able to be aware of many different things, right? And we are my generation too is one of the first to grow up with smartphones and the internet. And so we have all this sensory stimulation of media, phone, internet, along with being poisoned in our food, being propaganda in our media, I went to public school, in the schooling systems, and all of these things. This was a huge part of my awakening when I realized that the real revolution happens at the forefront of our consciousness, of liberating ourselves, of liberating our own minds and healing ourselves and becoming healthy and taking back our power. That the moment when I realized, I was like, there's not something wrong with me, there's something wrong with the system. There's actually something right with me, and this is what I came here, this is actually a gift. And then I realized is that same neurodivergent quality is the same thing that can be harnessed to turn into genius, because it is being able to rapidly move and pay attention to different things. And it is when it's not that you lack attention, that you can't pay attention, it's that kids don't want to sit in a box for 9 hours at a time, and they want to pay attention to things that they're interested in. Take any one of us and put our attention on something we're interested in, and we will be the best at it, and we will be able to pay attention to it nonstop. Put us in front of a bunch of BS programming, and us starseeds will be like, this is BS, this is not interesting, and there will be this resistance to it. And that's what I realized, is that I actually had intuitive gifts and abilities and discernment, and I could feel the energy of things, and this would cause this huge awakening for me to be like, you know what, actually, what if this is a gift that was actually a blessing in disguise? What seemed like a curse that was holding me down my whole life, that they said you have this thing that's wrong with you and you need to be fixed, but you can never fully be fixed. You can never fully be healed, so you have to be dependent on this pill. No, I rejected that. And that was liberation for me. And I took back and I said, my own awareness, my own consciousness can interact with my mind. And that's what they don't understand, is that this neuroplasticity, right? Is that this gift of this expanded ability to be aware of things can be very overwhelming until you learn how to master your mind. Then you master a whole nother kind of focus, because this isn't just a neural disorder, right? Disorder, things out of order, right? Or dis-ease, things out of ease. No, this isn't just something in your brain. This is neuroplasticity. Your consciousness and your health affects your brain. Just look at the studies that show how the brain and the heart, the mind and the body connect, right? When you change your state of consciousness, it has a direct impact on your brain waves. And vice versa. Like if you listen to the golden ratio frequencies, to the solfeggio frequencies, which is a huge part of what I use to heal myself in this process, if you start listening to these frequencies, they will start to heal you. And I started to let go of this anxiety to move into these higher states of consciousness through meditation and to actually change my frequency. And that as you change your frequency, you heal yourself and you change your reality. And so this was such a powerful part of the journey that helped me to awaken to everything is frequency and vibration. And so these things that you go through are part of your medicine. And they are part of the abundance that is meant to come in for you. Your story holds keys and codes, and maybe these are even things that you went through in order to have the breakdown, to have the breakthrough. Here with the Ace of Pentacles. I'm just going to wrap this up with a bit of tarot reading. And that the clarity that brought with the Sword of Discernment was what allowed you to step into this new reality, right? Into this new possibility, into this new identity. And this could have taken you on quite a hermit's quest, a spiritual quest, a journey of self-realization with the lotus here, of self-reflection, of going within and realizing that you can't change yourself from the outside in. You can only change yourself from the inside out. Trying to change yourself from the outside in is trying to look at yourself in the mirror and trying to manipulate the mirror to change your own reflection. When you change yourself, the reflection reflects. As within, so without. So as I went through that healing process as well, it unlocked the creative abilities. It will unlock your creative abilities, the conscious creator within you, because this is your divine expression as a creator, as a fractal of divinity, an aspect of God, is that you are endowed with creative gifts and abilities. And when you unlock that within yourself, you're able to fully express what wants to come through you. And that aligns you with your highest timeline. So the message that I receive for this is that this is part of you actually stepping into your highest timeline. So if this resonates with you, comment highest timeline below and make sure that you like and subscribe to the channel. And we will be coming at you with more high frequency downloads in the days to come. Peace and many blessings on your quest of awakening.